Hello YouTube, this is the Lon Chaney reviewer. I apologize for not have doing a video in a long time, but here I am. I posted an update video and I'm going to talk about stuff that I'm going to review. Today I'm going to do a review on a film that I just watched today, and then up soon I'm going to upload another video. But first off, I want to show you this. This is Michael Blake's book on one of Michael Blake's books on Chaney, The Man Behind the Thousand Faces. You know, I got to read that eventually. I don't know when I'm going to read this, but I have it now. I'm always trying to expand my Lon Chaney collection, so that's kind of cool. Next, lately, what I've been doing is I have been collecting German films. Now, some of these films are made. Now, most of these films I have are silent, but two of them are sound films, and I'll make note of that when they are sound films. But let me show you what some of these are. Got the 2010 restoration of Metropolis. I'm going to review this eventually, and I freaking love this movie. It's just so good. If you haven't seen Metropolis yet, check out this version. Don't check out any of the other versions, because as with any film in the public domain, it's bound to get screwed up. Then I have M. M is actually a film that I did a review on, but I wasn't satisfied, so I never posted it on YouTube, so I have to do another review on this. But this is a film that I've wanted to see since I was like 12 years old, because Peter Lorre was in it, and that's when I got into my favorite film, Casablanca. It still is my favorite film, and I can't say I was disappointed with them. I really loved it. It was awesome. So next we got F.W. Murnau's Faust. Now, some of these I've had for months, but I just haven't shown you guys. This is with Emil Jannings as Mephisto, and it's pretty cool. It's a really good movie. Next we got this awesome movie that I'm going to review another day, Dr. Mabuse the Gambler, parts 1 and 2. This film is on the 1001 movies you must see before you die, and I agree with that. It stars Rudolph Klein-Roche, who plays Rotwang in Metropolis. Next, we got The Testament of Dr. Mabuse. I don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest. But I think this was Fritz Lang's last film before he went to America. Next, we got Paul Lenny's The Man Who Laughs, with Conrad Veidt's Joker-inspiring grin. And yeah, it's pretty good. I think it needs a better musical score, though. I'll talk about this film another day as well. Then we got The Cat and the Canary. I haven't watched this yet, but it's also directed by Paul Lenny. It's an American film. Some of these are American, but they're kind of German-inspired or directed by German people, like The Man Who Laughs and Cat and the Canary. So those are the American films in this set. Then I got Kino's German horror classic set, which comes with The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Nosferatu, Der Golem, and Waxworks. I recently watched Caligari this past Monday, and I really enjoyed it. It was great. Nosferatu I've seen before. I rewatched it. It's a pretty decent film. I like some of the shots in it, and it does have a somewhat creepy atmosphere. Der Golem was pretty good too, you know, some ridiculous moments in that. Actually, Greta Schroeder, who was in Nosferatu, is also in The Golem, and she married Paul Wegener, who wrote, produced, and directed and starred in as Der Golem. And then Waxworks is really good. Oh my god. It's so funny because it's directed by Paul Lenny, right? And you have Werner Krauss, who is Dr. Caligari in The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. You have Emil Jannings, who played Mephisto in Faust, and of course is the first actor to ever win the Best Actor Oscar. And you have Conrad Veidt in it. So that's just German expressionism for the win. I mean, that's so cool. The only complaint I have with this set is that it includes the single disc edition of Nosferatu, not the double disc, which I'm going to get the double disc eventually. And then the last film I have to show you is actually the film I'm going to review today. And that's F.W. Murnau's The Last Laugh. Storytelling can be a major part in films sometimes. The way a story is told is sometimes the most important aspect of a film. Actually, it probably is the most important aspect of a film. What am I saying? Well, a couple films come to mind when we talk in terms of storytelling. One of them being Citizen Kane. Obviously, as most of us know, Citizen Kane starts where it ends. The end of the life of Orson Welles' character of Charles Foster Kane saying the famous word, Rosebud. And the film goes through different points of view of the people who knew him best. And it's a great film. It's not one of my favorite films, but it's a great film, nonetheless. And it's considered to be the greatest American film ever made by a lot of people. But there are some people out there who don't consider it the greatest American film ever made. Personally, I don't want to stick a label to a film as the greatest film ever made. I'll say it's one of the greatest, but I don't like saying it's the greatest. I'll say something's my favorite, but I won't say it's the greatest, because sometimes people will really argue on that one. But one of the greatest, people can't argue with that as much. But F.W. Murnau's Last Laugh is a very interesting film. It stars Emil Jannings as a hotel porter, and he loves his job. He loves his uniform. People give him the utmost respect in his neighborhood. He's a well-known, respected figure, and he loves his job. He's really happy and content with working at this hotel as the hotel porter. However, he sits down for a brief moment for a rest because he's getting old and he was carrying a bag that was kind of heavy. A hotel manager catches this and writes him up for it. Then, as one of the workers retires, Emil Jannings is demoted to washroom duty. And this destroys him. You see his sadness, and he's so desperate, he steals his old uniform just to, make himself look good, just to gain back some lost pride, and it's really sad. What I'm trying to get to is that this film is most famous not just because of F.W. Murnau and Emil Jannings, and the fact that it has one of the greatest early uses of a moving camera, but the film is a silent film, but it only has one title card. One. Now there are some films that have several title cards. Sometimes it's understandable that they needed title cards to tell a story. However, this one says no, I don't need that many title cards to tell the story. And they only use one, and actually, had the film gone onto F.W. Murnau's original vision, you wouldn't see any title cards at all. Like, the original ending for this was that he dies in the wash. But the UFA Studios didn't want that to happen, so they changed the ending. And there's a title card that sort of describes, normally at this point, he wouldn't even get this far. However, the author felt that this needed to happen, or that someone needed to have pity on him. So, I'm not going to tell you all the ending, because a lot of people know it, and they're really mad about the ending. But I can't say I was too mad. The only thing I was mad about it was that it was so long, the ending. It was like 16 minutes of him. It's just a very long ending. I wouldn't mind if it was just like a minute or so in the ending, because the way I heard about the ending, it sounded like it was going to do that, and it sounded like that was a good idea. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that this film is amazing. Like, the first hour and 14 minutes are just some of the best storytelling you're ever going to get in a film. This is the Kino edition that has is a restored German version and the unrestored American version, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check. The unrestored export version. Okay. And then there's the German version. I got this for $26.99 on Amazon. This film is amazing. Overall, I have to give this a 10 out of 10. It's now not only one of my favorite movies, but I think I sincerely think it's one of the best movies ever made, because I also think that out of the 3 F.W. Murnau films that I've seen, which are Nosferatu, Faust, and this, I think this one's the best, because it takes a very simple story. However, it turns it into something very passionate, very personal. And the film, a lot of people like to look at it as something about like the workers and uniform versus identity and all that kind of stuff. So I really recommend you check this film out. And I'm going to post another movie review soon. One of my German films. And then I will eventually post my part 2 of my fandom review eventually. Because I know some of you have been waiting for that. I have 11 subscribers, and that just kind of gets me a little happy, because I never intended for this channel to go far. And the reason why I made this channel is because whenever I looked up a video review for something like The Last Laugh, or I don't know, say The Man Who Laughs, I would get completely irrelevant results. And I mean, there are written reviews out there, yes, and I do like those, but I like a video review. And that's why I do these reviews. Because, not to get subscribers and stuff, but to hopefully give people an option to search things on YouTube that they wouldn't normally be able to search up for. Like a review on F.W. Murnau's Faust, or a review on Dr. Mabuse the Gambler. There's very few reviews on YouTube with that, and I hope I give a decent review of these films and do them justice. So that's the reason why I have this channel. But in any case, I hope you liked my review on The Last Laugh and my opinions on its storytelling. It's just a visual film, essentially, The Last Laugh. That's why it's so great, is that it doesn't need dialogue, and it doesn't need the title cards to tell its story. It just uses the bare visuals to convey its message. And that's why it's a great movie. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been the Lon Chinny Reviewer. Peace.